Welcome to Meanwhile at the Castle. I am Queen Deborah.
I'm Queen Emily.
And we are queens of our castles, keeping the domestic arts alive. It is episode 49, December 17th, 2019. Did I do that right?
Yes, you did. Well done.
That's glaring.
Can you see? I can't
Enough.
see.
I don't have as bad eyes as you have.
Most people don't.
So, yeah, it's fine. So it has been a little while. I'm going to take Emily's normal spot here and report on the weather.
That's what I always do, don't I?
It's cold. We have reached a point in the year that I look forward to where my children no longer look at me as the evil person forcing them to not wear shorts.
They finally accepted it on their own.
I don't even have to remind them most of the time.
Nice.
This morning when I took my daughter to her class, it was 17 degrees Fahrenheit, and she took her own coat, without me saying, remember, it's winter. It's cold. It's snowy. And then going, why?
But I don't even need it.
And saying, remember how cold it is and it's snowing? Probably don't wear the shorts anymore. I see people walking down the street wearing shorts and they're so cold. So then they put on really long socks and multiple pairs of socks. And I think that really defeats the purpose. So just put on pants. So
This is true.
So anyways, I'm no longer the bad guy for that.
Good. So it is. I know. I always like to report on the weather. I think it's the writer inside of me. You have to set the tone.
The tone.
That
So
you have to
everybody
set the
knows.
tone. It's cold.
It's just so cold.
It really, really is. And in fact, guess what happened this morning when I was taking Isaac? I was driving Isaac, and on my way back, my windshield cracked straight across the bottom.
Oh no.
And I think obviously there had to have been some kind of a ding or crack or something that was little and I didn't even know it was there. And then I think it was the heat of the defroster blowing and then the cold on the outside because it was so cold. But
yeah, my car, the brakes were they were
squeaky.
really, there was no softness to it. So I tried to warm up the car for a little while, but it took too long to warm up this morning.
I wish I would have honked my horn because my car horn, I have an old arthritic car, and my car horn, when it gets super, super cold, it goes like that. And it's the funniest noise. But I forgot to honk it because, I didn't have a reason to.
I'm arthritic. Can I make that noise often? My joints do.
So what's up in your life, Deborah?
Everything. I can't even remember when we recorded a podcast last. I did cut my hair.
It's fun. It's
I did that. I had a really sweet friend pass away, which is why we didn't record since then, because there's been a lot going on with that. And we are getting our entire house torn apart. Not really. It feels that way. Yeah. But we're having to empty out our entire lower level, our basement of all things, and painting it so that carpet can come in on Friday. This was a very last minute thing. So I slept 4.5 hours last night. I'm a little bit weird. I get really, really weird when I'm tired.
This is going to be fun.
Mostly I'm going
to ask you complicated math questions.
I don't filter all things as well. And so a lot of things just come out that shouldn't sometimes. So, I don't soften things when people ask me questions. I'm just no, idiot. So it's
if you call me an idiot, I will cry.
Oh, don't cry. Don't cry. I'm tired. Okay, so that's what's going on. What about with you, Emily?
Oh, things are good. We, I would say we're slowing down before Christmas, but not really. But we are off of school now, as in we're homeschool. So my kids are no longer required to do schoolwork every day, just reading. And that makes it nice. And we've been doing some fun Christmassy things. Ethan is home for the holidays. And on this new camera, I don't know where your camera lens is. Where is it? Am I looking in the right spot?
Let's
is it
practice.
The same
Okay,
spot?
I'm looking in the middle. Emily, look. I'm looking in the middle. Am I looking at the camera?
No.
Okay, now I'm... Wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
there you go. There you go.
Okay, look over here.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we're professionals.
I do not claim to be
No.
sort of professional.
Oh. Anyway, Ethan's home from school for the holidays, and that's really fun. And he's done with his semester, and it was super, super stressful. So he survived, and that's good news. Anyway, we're just having a good time. We're going to go to a movie tonight. And yeah.
What are you going to see?
Stuff. Well, I'm not super duper excited about the movie, but this is what Richard's Christmas party for his work is they do a theater, and you can bring your family and go to the movie.
Yeah.
So it's the new Jumanji movie.
That one looked
I saw the second one. You know what I mean?
Yes. I didn't see that one.
And Isaac and I watched it. We're the only ones who have seen it. And I thought it was hilarious. Isaac said it's sketchy.
That's our children's favorite word.
So anyway, I'm looking forward to at least going out with my family and having a good time together.
Yeah.
And
do you have movie knitting?
Well, no. Yes. No, I do. I do.
Mike, do I need to find you
yes,
some?
I do. I do have movie knitting. And we watched a movie last night as a family, our favorite Christmas movie, Scrooge with Albert Finney. In case you haven't heard it from us, every Christmas, this is our fourth Christmas podcasting, because we have podcasted for 3 years.
Oh yeah.
And we started, this is our fourth Christmas. We're ancient podcasters.
We're still not professional.
No, we never will be. But anyway, we talk about this every year. We both love Scrooge with Albert Finney. Best rendition of A Christmas Carol. So we watched that last night, and it's just so good.
We're gonna watch that the Sunday before Christmas, because we will have our new carpet.
Oh,
the room will be painted,
nice.
And the room will be mostly back together, except for the missing pieces of furniture that haven't come in yet, or my husband hasn't made or assembled or whatever. So,
which means it'll be clean.
Except for the piles of things that go in the furniture.
Clean, but that's true. Your house is always clean, though.
So in general, it will be good, and we can really enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to that. Except for I wonder how much it's going to smell with the new carpet.
I
haven't had new carpet.
No, we had new carpet in this room, right before I moved in here. And I don't think it smells bad. I mean, the paint smells bad, but carpet isn't bad.
Okay. So the paint will be good by then. Because I'll be up again till an ungodly hour. Doing it again. It's okay. It's going to be good, though.
It will be.
It's going to be great.
It'll be grand. I said that earlier to somebody, and it made me think of our Aunt Mary. She says that.
Oh, she does?
She says groovy and grand. Yes. And that's just, it's fun. Anyway.
All right, what about, wait. Did you talk about
what I was doing? Yes, I'm doing Christmas stuff. I can't tell you one thing I am doing. Well, I'm going to be doing as soon as we're done with recording this podcast. I'm going to be doing a project for a friend who I think they have 7 children, biological children, and they have been kind of fostering a beautiful, wonderful teenage girl who's been in a very, very, very difficult situation for a long time. And they are going to be able to adopt her, and she's going to be with them for Christmas. And he was reaching out, looking for somebody who could knit a very specific Christmas stocking, because all of the rest of their kids have all the same pattern of Christmas stocking, and they want her to have one. So that is going to be fun. I said I would do it, and I'm going to go get the yarn right after this and do that. So I figure
nice.
That's what I'll be working on. Yep, that's what's up.
All right, let's talk about some knitting then.
Wonderful. Finished objects.
Yes.
Where to start? I realized I have one finished object that I never took a picture of, and I've gifted it, and it's gone. So
there you go. Well, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to insert pictures of things that we've already gifted I don't know. We'll see.
Well, yeah.
I'll do my best.
With timing and so on.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, I finished a everyday slouchy beanie, which is a pattern by Tristan Molina. And this is one that I showed last time that I had started using. Something's not right here.
No, cream soda.
Cream soda. You just said that.
I did.
And butterscotch. Cotton candy mohair. And I held those together to get this. And
So
this is
pretty.
for one special person. And I hope she likes it because I think it's almost the same color as her hair. May not. Well, her hair's no.
It depends on which part of my hair you look at.
How does this look with your coloring? I just was thinking about that. I just know that she likes this color. So
I want to know who it is. Oh.
Okay. I don't think she watches this. By the way, it's a girl, just in case you didn't get that. I don't think she watches my podcast. But our dad watches half the time.
Our dad.
Hi, Dad.
he says, I watched, I listened to it, but then you just talk about so much knitting. So then I skip through a lot of it. I'm like, it is a knitting podcast. It's so cute.
So it's just
Love you,
good
Dad.
to know so that I don't share things for my dad ever. I haven't really knit for my dad.
By the way, right now, Dad, don't watch this. Just going to say, skip this one till after Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. We just shared the update about our lives. That's all we need. Okay. That was all of that.
That was all. And that's enough of that. Okay. No, it's cute. Love it. Love it. So I will share this one because Deborah inspired me. So I also made an everyday slouchy beanie.
The yarns escaped.
And this one, where is the yarn? I thought I pulled it out.
I do have like a massive pile here of stuff.
Yes.
Hiding most of your stuff.
It's okay. This is also knit with candyshoppeyarns, and it's actually kind of blowing out. It's richer than it's looking, at least in my end of the screen. But it was a one-of-a-kind colorway for the fingering weight, and then her grape cotton candy, and this fun pom-pom. Isn't that fun? And this is inspired by an everyday slouchy beanie because I made several mistakes. But anyway, as in I forgot to do some increases right here, so it's not quite as full in the hat side of things. But anyway, I love it, and I love this pom-pom. And here's my thing. People keep talking about pom-poms and detachable pom-poms and snap-on pom-poms. This is what I do with my pom-poms. I just tie them on and then I untie them before I wash them.
Yeah.
That's what you do too.
Tied in a bow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the snap-on pom-poms sound cool, but I also don't necessarily want something hard on the top of my head. I don't know. I probably would like it, but this is, you can use any pom-pom and do it this way. And
You were
it can be
talking about
removable.
this being too tight, but I was telling you that it does really relax over, wearing it just a little bit.
Yeah.
And because I was wearing mine all this morning. And
It's so cute on you too. I love
very
that one.
comfortable.
What size did you knit?
That's a good question.
Because I wonder if I knit the smaller size. Because our gauge is usually fairly close, and we're using the same base yarn.
You know what? I knit this one a while ago, I think. And this one, I think I did the smaller size.
So this was the largest size?
No, not the... Okay, sorry. This one was the medium for a 22-inch head circumference. And it sat on my, head form as a display for quite a while. But that was, small child size. But I think that did... It's not really child size. It's just not really an adult one. But I think that it just relaxed over time with that. And then this one I did small because I remember thinking this one's kind of big, and I did the 21-inch head circumference.
And you knit it with the recommended needles?
Yes.
Because look at the difference. You and I usually have the same gauge. And look at this. That's the difference. And this is the larger size. This is the medium.
Oh,
no, the medium.
Okay.
And this is the small. And yours is definitely bigger than mine.
Yeah, but once it's worn for just a little bit, it's just going to relax and it will be much bigger. So that's
I'm
why
hoping it
I
doesn't
did this one with the
squeeze my daughter's brains out.
Because, I mean, it does feel tight. It feels snug, but it's comfortable. It's not uncomfortable. Okay. And after you wear it for a little bit, it feels great.
Well, this is for Abby for Christmas. So she loves kind of earthier tones. Like that army green is her favorite color.
Yeah, that's...
And she loves kind of this color, maroons and purples and golds. So
I like that one.
think she'll like it.
I thought I kept a skein of that one. And I didn't. I sold it and then realized that was the last one of that one.
It's so pretty. I love it.
So Mandy Anderson got my last one.
Enjoy it, Mandy. I have some bits of it left if you want.
Yeah, because I do. I really like that one.
I do too. I think it's really pretty. And honestly, so I've heard people were asking us questions about this because they've seen you knit a couple of them. And now I've knit one. The brim is the thing that takes all the time. It just takes all the time because you're knitting on a small needle and you're knitting at a tighter gauge. And it's longer because it's a folded brim and the whole thing. So it feels like it's taking forever. And as soon as you finish the brim, it's like zoop, and then you're done. It's super fast. So don't give up. Keep going. It's so worth it. It's such a nice
I have several more planned.
Oh, I definitely want to knit more of these.
Future. I have the yarn and the pom-pom set aside.
But you know what? I think I probably will. I don't know. We'll see how this one wears. But I think just for my own sake of knitting it, I might knit, especially if this one stretches, but I might knit the smaller size, but then just one needle size up on the brim. Just because for the sake of my hands.
Yeah. Yeah, because it does. That's what I was saying. It does make my hands tired doing that. But it has such a nice result.
It really does.
So I like it.
Really, really does.
Okay. I finished a pair of shorty socks for my daughter. She dyed this yarn. It is her BB-8 inspired yarn that she dyed. And the base was a bear yarn that I bought years ago that was a Knit Picks bear. I don't know which one it was, but it feels really, really nice. Feel that.
Yeah, that is.
I don't remember if it was Stroll or Capretta. So,
they have another fingering that's hawthorn or something.
Yeah, this one's not hawthorn.
I don't remember.
But it feels really nice. So she's gonna like these. She's requested more, lots of these. This is the style that she wants. And I've had a lot of requests for how to knit this. And most of the time I just give my notes like, well, I did ribbing for so many rows and did a heel flap and gusset and whatever. I give my sock recipes. So I'm going to work on in the future, in this new year, writing down all of my basic patterns to have available. And I've worked on creating a couple of new ones, things like that. So that for those of you that keep asking for my very basic things, then we'll have those available. Yep. And that
will include, won't it, the socks from our tutorial?
Yes, and I'll in the new year I will probably be redoing that tutorial, at least the magic loop, because it was done for a live group of people, but we've just kept it up for everybody else. But it's kind of odd and awkward if you weren't there in the live one, listening to our talking back and forth with each other. So,
well, you know what? How about this? Give us your opinion on that, because I've heard a lot of people who love that it's a knit along kind of thing, and so I don't know.
Mostly, I just thought for the ease of watching and simplification, and condensing a little bit. Yeah. Because since it was live, you had to wait for us to do everything live. But if it's not, then I can speed some things up, and so that's kind of a thought. Okay. Back to these socks.
Yes.
I always, with shorties, add in 1 or 2 rows. I've got paint all over my hands of elastic thread that I have doubled. So I just went through. Can we see that? I went through, is it gonna focus? Just the ribbing stitching. I didn't do it on this bottom one because frankly I just was in a hurry, but I've tried them on and I think it's gonna be fine. If I need to add another round,
So
row,
2 strands of elastic thread just woven through the wood
together. Yeah, and I just weave it together and then I tie a double knot and I clip the ends, and yep, they poke up sometimes. But if you try to weave them in, they just pull back out, so there's no point in that. So, and you don't want to cut it too short because then they will come undone. So you could do it down a little bit lower if you want, but it doesn't bother me. So that's what I have done.
Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. Oh, I'm trying to think of, when is this video going to go live? Today's the 17th.
I don't know. I'm hoping that it will be like the 18th. It really just depends on...
Could we make it the 19th? Because then I could show something that I can't show.
Make it the 19th?
Yes.
Yes.
That's day after tomorrow.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
Well, now you guys get to see whatever the secrets are. What am I doing wrong?
I'm going to put this back on. Actually, no, I'm not. I am very excited to be participating in the Cast On Collaborative by Christy. I can't say it, Houghton. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Christy Houghton of Yarn Cafe Creations. Fabulous Christy. She has put together this Cast On Collaborative where there is a new design being released by a designer, an original design, every day leading up to Christmas in December. And the proceeds, each of these designers is donating proceeds from the pattern releases to the organization of their choice. But the theme, the overarching theme, is suicide awareness and prevention. And I know that mental health is a very important thing to all of us. And Christy, that's a big part of the things that she's, what am I trying to say the words? Her focus is in good mental health. So I wanted to share my design because my design is coming out on the 19th. So if you're watching this on the 19th, it's today. And this design, this is a pair of socks, and they are called the Fizz socks. And oh, I love them. They're very fun, light, lacy socks. And they are come in 3 sizes. They're knit cuff down. They have this fun little pattern. And this pattern is available at yarnbrary.com. That's where you can find the pattern and also all of my other patterns. And the organization that I have chosen to donate to is Valley Mental Health. Valley Mental Health is a local nonprofit that provides counseling, inpatient and outpatient treatments, and a variety of other supportive services for both adults and children. And I've chosen this one because my Isaac has struggled a lot with anxiety, and when he was younger, a lot with depression as well. And we've dealt with some pretty major phobias that were very inhibitive to his quality of life, especially when he was in about 10, 11, 12. And we ended up at Valley Mental Health with a fantastic therapist who really helped to bring the sparkle back to Isaac. Isaac is a bright, cheerful, loving, hilarious kid. He's almost 15 now, and he's doing really well. He has his times that he struggles still, but he is doing really well. And he came awake during that time, and I saw this spark come back into his face, and it had been gone for a while. And so I feel really grateful to the experience that we had at Valley Mental Health in helping him. And as they are a nonprofit, they deal with a lot of families that are in lower income brackets, if you will, that are in need that support and that help and that love. Children's mental health is something that nobody wants to acknowledge being an issue. We talk about it more as adults, but there are a lot of kids who can really benefit, who really need that support. And So we had a great experience there. And so these socks, the Fizz socks, which are inspired both by my son's bubbly personality and my love for fizzy sodas, are going to be available at Yarnbrary. So there you go. This is my design and I love them. And just people have asked, or if you are interested, the colorway is Marianne Dashwood on Yarnbrary Classic Sock. So there they are.
He does have a bubbly, sparkly personality.
Yes, he does.
He wants to have a cat and name the cat what?
Bartholomew. Of course, he probably can't have a cat because we are all allergic.
Yes.
But that's just his personality. He is hilarious. Always.
Yes.
So there you go.
Alrighty. It has been a busy and productive month or 2 or 3, however long it's been. I have been doing some Advent knitting with my Advent minis that I got from a swap I did with Molly from Molly Klein Design. And I have knit a snuggle down cowl-ish type item.
It's inspired by...
I started out doing some ribbing because I like to have a non-rolled edge. So I did some ribbing, and then from there on, I made all sorts of modifications that were not always intentional. And then I found out that it looked great. So just keep going with
It's a design element.
It is. So, like I did more rows between the pattern repeats, and I wanted to use up all of the 10 gram of the mini. I didn't want to leave any little bits behind, so I just knit until I ran out. I didn't change the yarn when it called for, and I don't know if it's the length that it was meant to be, but I pulled out a certain number of colors that I thought my daughter would like, because this is going to be for my daughter, and just knit until I used those colors. So
fun.
And then I finished with some more ribbing.
Cute. That is so cute.
So the Snuggle Down Cowl, if you want to knit the actual one, was by Jewels of So Sweet Violet. And I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. And it is a pattern that calls for a fingering weight strand of yarn held with a lace weight. She calls it floof.
It's floof.
Just a minute, I'll tell you. Floof from Lay Family Yarn in the natural color, which is Surrey Alpaca and Mulberry Silk. I used mohair. My bubblegum, just plain marshmallow undyed colorway. And so it kind of just softened all of the colors a little bit.
I'm confused because you said bubblegum and then you said plain.
I don't know what I was saying. Just a minute. Just give me a second. Cotton candy mohair in the marshmallow colorway.
Awesome.
I don't think that was even close to what I said before. I'm just making stuff
This is
up.
what happens when you stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning painting.
I actually do pretty good. Like I woke up at the same time, no problem. It's just that my processor isn't processing at the same rate as it usually does. It's missing a few ones and zeros in there. So,
Deborah, that's 10. 1 and 0 makes 10. Anyway. I love that.
World,
it's
Emily.
so cute. I know. I'm totally just making stuff up.
I know.
It's really cute.
This is what I always say in my family, because when I can't think properly, I go, "Oh, my bread's not working." I think I explained this before.
Your bread?
My bread, because there was one day where I just couldn't get any word out correctly, and I was like, "Oh, my bread's not working," meaning my brain. And so now we always say that.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
That's a joke we always
I'm going to
have.
say that now. Because that happens on a regular basis. Alrighty. Next up is another hat. Oh, you're not even, it's so dark you can't even see. Oh, here we go. There's the texture. So this is a hat for my brother. He does not want a slouchy hat. This is specifically for winter because he does snow removal in the winter. And this is knit from Juniper Moon Farm Moonshine Chunky. And it is in color 105. So, oh no, iron. Iron is the color, which is 105. So this one has 109 yards to 100 grams. So that's about the level of chunkiness that it is. And I wanted to make him a beanie type that would fit, you know, fairly close and down just over his ears to keep him nice and warm. And it's one of those that's got, it has lots of little hairs. It's alpaca wool and silk. And so you definitely get the
nice,
alpaca.
though.
It is nice. But you get those alpaca hairs I'm always picking off. And it picks up everything. So I'm a little worried about that. Because you put it down and you pick it up and it's like, oh, there's all the dust that just was on that table apparently.
I didn't know that.
But this is just a pattern that I have designed. I'm calling it the Rich Hat. And it's very simple and it will probably be available on my website, but that won't be till after Christmas. So anyway, it's just nice. It has a crossed decrease, crisscross decreases.
I like that.
And I actually I'm not going to block this. I don't feel like there's a need to block it. It's so chunky and squishy. I kind of want to keep all the squish in it. So we'll just call it that. And that's for my brother.
Very
So
nice.
it does have a nice feel though to it. It's very squishy. And it's really stretchy. So, I mean, it's a lot of ribbing all the way up. Like the pattern starts right at the cast on and just goes all the way up. So, it looks smaller than it actually is because it just...
Yeah, it does look like it's a small hat.
But it isn't. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that one.
Okay.
Put it in the pile.
In my neighborhood, there's a family that was expecting a baby, and early and suddenly she went into labor, and everything is good. But while she was in labor, I thought, oh, I didn't have time to knit anything. And I didn't even have any good acrylic yarn because for a baby, you want to be able to throw it in the washing machine and not have to worry about it. So I called my friend Becky, who is in our local knitting group, who lives just down the street from me, and said, do you have any acrylic yarn? And she says, I do, and brought over an assortment for me to choose from.
Nice.
And
Becky, could you come over?
And in there was this yarn by Hobby. And this is color print 03. And she hadn't used this yarn before. And I hadn't used this yarn before. But I just made up a little hat. Just a very, very simple hat.
So cute.
Look at that thing.
So cute.
And this yarn is so fun.
It is very
How
fun.
it's just self-patterning. And so I made up this little pattern and I gave the hat and then knit another one because I liked the yarn so much. I went online and found it and may have ordered 15 more.
15?
They were having a really good sale.
But I thought it was going to be really good gift knitting.
So I knit this in 2 hours. I'm not the fastest knitter, but I'm not super slow. So like just pretty average. So I think the average knitter could do this in 2 hours. It's pretty basic. And I could probably I haven't weighed it. I was going to weigh this to find out, but I forgot. Darn it. Anyways, I could probably do 2 of these and then one that's more of a beanie style out of one 50-gram ball of this yarn. So I have this pattern mostly written up that I will include in my future releases of basic hats. So it would be for this and for a beanie one.
Cute.
And this yarn, I think it was a really good sale because I think they may be clearancing it out or getting rid of it. I'm not sure if they're going to be carrying it anymore. So if you are interested in this yarn, go get it. Like right now, I went and got it at Hobby, 2 Eyes, and they had a whole assortment of colors and prints and things that were really fun. And It's made in Scandinavia. Wait, no, designed in Scandinavia, made in Turkey. Fun.
I wonder what they mean by Scandinavia.
I know.
A variety of Scandinavian countries.
Well, maybe it's all over.
Yeah, that's place. Cool. That's really cool.
What was I going to say about this? Oh, this says that it is a heavy DK light worsted. I say it's a light DK. That's my opinion on it and the gauge that I get knitting with it.
Nice.
There's okay. Oh, I do have to tell you about the pom-pom.
Do.
This is important. Look at this adorable pom-pom.
It is so cute. It looks like a snowball.
It is the cutest pom-pom. I have discovered because a very sweet lady, I think Disney Geek Mom, forgive me if I got that wrong, on Instagram, sent my daughter some yarn for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. And she sent Lion Brand homespun. And we needed something to make a pom-pom. And we made some with this using the green colored clover pom-pom maker. It makes like a 2.5 inch, something like that, pom-pom. And discovered that makes the best pom-poms. This makes the best pom-poms. So I went and bought more.
I want to look at it again.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this pom-pom. If you steam your pom-pom, so I have like a clothes steamer. So I like just hold it up, steam it, and shake it around. It fluffs it up, and then you can shape it even better. And it's just perfect. It's a perfect pom-pom.
It is. It's so cute.
If you want,
it's cuter in person than what you're getting there.
And they have a variety of colors. So I was going to go back and get some that were like a natural, like a more grayish kind of color for other ones. But yeah, I really love this one. So I had to go get my own because I didn't want to steal any more of my daughter's because she is on a pom-pom making mission with those with that yarn.
That's fun.
Just to make her own. So
that is very fun.
There we go. What did I bring this for? I don't even know what I brought that. Oh yeah, I held that with the snuggle down cowl. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I forgot.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I have 2 more finished objects. Well, because like one of them I already gave. I knit some socks for my cute Aria and sent them to her, but I didn't get pictures.
Did you show them? Did you start them after our last podcast? Because I don't remember.
Rewinding. I don't even remember.
What yarn
no,
did you
I think
use?
I showed them on our podcast.
Wasn't
they were like the white. Yeah, it was a one of a kind that I think was Sweet Sparrow yarns with the heels, toes, and cuffs out of the same yarn from my pink sweater.
Yeah, you showed it last time.
I finished those.
Yes.
So I have that, but I also finished this. Well, you talk about that because that was first.
Well, it's for my niece Aria as well. I made her a hat because I was at Hobby Lobby and walked by, and this yarn screamed her name.
It was like Aria.
I have to make something with it. Look at that! It's like marshmallow twists. Oh.
It's so
it just
cute.
screamed her name, and it is so thick. Like it's 3 strands, and each strand is like a worsted Aran weight. So hold that triple. And
I kind of love that so much.
So this, I just made up a pattern, and I thought, oh, I'll just knit a really fast hat because this is super bulky. But then I found my biggest needles weren't working. I like cast on, and I thought this looks gigantic. And I went and tried it on, and I was like, oh, I can't get it on my head. So I had to rip it out, get new needles, try again. And then I still thought, no, that's still not going to go on my head. And I need it to go on my niece's head as well. So I needed bigger needles, try again. So 3rd try, I did it, and it was still pretty snug, but I thought, that's it. It's just going to be a brain squeezer one. So it took 2.5 of these balls, and it was hefty, and it's like a helmet. And it is the cutest hat. It is the cutest hat. It is so cute. I mean, I was laughing the whole time, like, this is ridiculous. So I wrote up the pattern for what I'm calling the ridiculous hat because it looks ridiculous, and then you put it on, and it's fabulous. It's also going to be completely weather repellent. So if at all
Nothing getting through
possible, I'm putting a picture up now or at the end. We'll see how that goes. But I have
Yes.
pictures of this, and if not, I'll put it on Instagram.
So fun.
But it was really fun.
She got it and she opened it and she loved it. So that's so wonderful.
It was fun to make, but it does take big needles and it looks silly until you're done and you put it on. It's great.
That is fun. You could almost, like, you could finger knit with that. Like, you could totally do that on your fingers, or even, it's thick enough, you could do a really loose arm knit. Especially if you're a kid.
I don't think you could do an arm knit. Finger knitting.
Well, sorry. If you held it double, you could.
Yeah.
It would be loose, but
Well,
it would be fun.
okay, so this
Because it
only
looks like it would fluff up.
This only has 23 yards, 21 meters
Oh, wow.
per ball. So if you hold that double, I'm kidding.
Never mind. Just ignore all of that. Don't do it.
But
It's
if
just-
you get it at Hobby Lobby, when I did on the 30% off sale, and it was $5.99 normally. I mean, like,
I'm just thinking, what could you do with that to show it off? You could weave it.
It's just
That
so
would be
fun.
fun.
It is okay. This is what my daughter loved. So when I was done and I cut off some extra pieces, weaving in the ends. I'm just gonna tell you.
Just don't weave in the ends.
So
just tie a bow.
It's so thick, and I was like, and then weaving it again through, it's gonna make this hat like this thick. So I separated each strand into 3 and was weaving those in separately, and that was taking an eternity because I had to start and stop like with 3 balls. That it was ridiculous. So I finally just went, forget it, and I was tying knots, or I like. Luckily, my niece is like, it's fabulous. She won't care.
That's fun.
But so then I had all these pieces left over at the end, and I had like 8-10 inch pieces of these cut off. And my daughter's like, that's perfect doll hair for like mermaids and all of her little fairies. Okay, it is. Look at how cute that is.
Oh my
And
word.
there's variegation to
You can get
this.
a bunch of it.
So that would make really cute doll hair. I'm all about the doll hair yarn.
That
So-
is perfect.
So that's one suggestion there.
So fun.
Okay.
All right. I did a sweater for my mom for Christmas.
It was fast.
This is the Hitofude cardigan. And I'm opening it all up. It's hard to show. Like, I don't know how to hold this to make. There you go. You can see
I
it.
can't see anything, but it's okay. I don't know.
Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's so pretty. This is Deborah's yarn. This is Candy Shop Yarns in the cream soda colorway. And yeah, I did it in like 10 days.
It was less than that.
Well, I was doing other things.
Yeah, man.
It might have
It
been a
was
week. I mean, it
fast.
was speedy.
Yeah.
It was so fun. I took it on our trip when we went to San Diego. Oh yeah, we went to San Diego since last time I saw you. Anyway, I took it on our trip, and it's one where you get the lace is a very, very simple lace pattern. So once it's in your head, you just can go. You don't have to look at the pattern anymore. I had to refer back to the pattern a few times, but most of the time I didn't have to, and I could just zoom along. And I love how it turned out. I'm a little bit concerned about the fit of the arms for my mom. If it doesn't fit her, it will be a gift for somebody else, and I will knit her another one because I wouldn't mind doing that. But I really love it. So there's the inside, and I just thought it was so much fun.
That's definitely something that she would really like.
She loves, our mom she's so feminine and loves lacy, drapey, lightly, ruffly, not, very kind of classy. And she loves really soft, light colors. So she'll really love that. I hope she'll love it, and I hope it'll fit her well.
I think that she
I used 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I had about 30 grams left. I probably could have made it a little longer. I already did make it a little bit longer. So, but I thought that was so fun to knit. And that is the second one I've made. I'll definitely make another one.
If the sleeves don't work, would you be think that it would work to undo the sleeves and reknit them?
Not in the
Because the
construction of this sweater.
That's right.
Is you knit the whole upper body, which is the sleeve and this, all in one piece, and then you 3 needle bind off the sleeves, and then you knit this trim around the neckline. You kind of start working around it, and then you come down and you knit basically like the skirt of the sweater, if you will, the bottom of the sweater, back and forth again. So it's not, if to do that, I would have to unravel
all the way to the beginning,
2/3 of the sweater. So I wouldn't do that.
I was gonna say, because I have this much cream soda left.
Well, and I still have some too. But I would just knit another one because this would fit somebody else. It would fit Deborah. It would fit my daughter Abby. It would fit any of your girls. I mean, there's plenty of people that could wear it. So then I would just give it to somebody else. I think it will work for her though. The question is, will it work the way she wants it to fit is the question. So, but I would happily knit her another one. So that's fine.
I have non-sewing finished object.
Non-knitting?
Non-knitting. I have a sewing object. But you have another knitting one.
Yes, I do.
It's on
What
me.
is it? Oh, yes, that's right. This. I made this cowl. It's my cloud cowl. And it was so much fun to knit. I gave this to Deborah yesterday because we did a little party and exchange gifts.
I wish a camera could see the fluffiness
and the halo,
softness and the squishiness of this.
This yarn is Illimani, and I think it's Amelie is the base, I believe. And it is a really fun yarn. It is a tube, like a net type tube of mulberry silk. And then they blow baby alpaca and merino fibers into that tube. And it is very, very light and fluffy. And I mean, I want to see if you can get that. You're not going to get the texture. Anyway, it's just it's a poofy cloud. And it's a funny one because it says Aran weight on it. Does it say Aran weight? No, it doesn't. It doesn't say anything about that.
I think probably looking at the yardage and...
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to guess based on the yardage. No, it looks more like it would be a sport weight because it's so light. Yeah. So if you look at the weight compared to the length, you would get a completely different thing. So I had no idea, and it doesn't really say. It says 15 to 16 inches for 4 inches, but it doesn't give a recommended needle size or anything like that. So when I got it, I thought, what am I going to, I thought about making a hat with it. But the thing I found about it is it doesn't really have enough, in my opinion, structure for a hat. Because honestly, if I took this and I stretched it, it's like it would just stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like it just, because it's silk and alpaca, you know, it's not really it's very drapey. Anyway, so I started playing with different needle sizes, and I started with a 5 and I ended at a 10, and I could have gone up from there because it's just light and foof, but it was really fun. And I will write it. I want to look for some other yarn, substitutions for this one because I really don't know how widely available this is. I picked this up at, what is it called? Apricot Yarns in San Diego. Cute place. Cute store there in an adorable area. It's like, those of you who live in San Diego are going to, of course, know exactly what I'm talking about. But now I can't remember the name of this complex. It looks like it may have at one time been like military buildings or something like that. But there are all these brick buildings. And now it's like almost entirely artisans in this area. Big area. Super cute. Loved it. Anyway, the whole point, I bought the yarn. And I want to find another base that is kind of a similar one just to give multiple options, but then I'll write up that pattern too. Very easy, fun, simple pattern. And I'm glad you like it because it looks so pretty on you.
I love it. Love it, love it.
Glad.
Cowls. I always love sweaters with cowl necklines. That's my favorite. And I like wearing cowls, and I keep wearing what I call my ugly cowl because that's, I have 3, but 2 draped down lower, and I wanted ones that were up on my neck more. So I have my Land of Sweets cowl that I knit last year that, I liked all the yarns, but how I put it together, I just didn't like how it looked together.
Yeah, it's not ugly because you don't like the yarn, and it's not ugly because you don't like the pattern. It's because you just didn't like the combination. I didn't like the combination.
So, yeah. But I keep wearing it because that's what I have. So this is perfect.
Good.
Love it.
Is it itchy at all?
No, it just feels really nice.
It has a lot of alpaca,
snuggly.
so I was wondering how it would be.
Super cuddly and cozy and soft. I love it very much.
Good. Okay,
that's all my finished.
I think that's all mine as well.
Oh, yeah, I have my sewing.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I found an old wool sweater at a thrift store that was slightly felted. So I bought it and brought it home and felted it even more. Where did I put?
Did you forget the object itself?
I think I did.
Oh no.
Oh well. Well, I don't have the finished object with me. I have all of the cutout pieces to make another. I made mittens with them. And so I spent quite a while figuring out a pattern, and this looks giant. I was making it man size. I do have man size hands. They're dainty, but they're very long. I don't fit in women's gloves. So I always have to buy men's gloves. And so, because I have just really long fingers. So this is the back of it. And this is the palm where it has like the thumb. This is really awkward to show the thumb. Anyways, and then I bought some wool to line it with because I wanted it to all be wool and nice and soft and warm, and then realized that wouldn't work because this still has some stretch to it and the wool has none, and I could cut it on a bias, but I just didn't really want to do that. So I ended up pulling out my fleece scraps that don't match anything, and it's just polyester fleece, and made the lining with that. And it's very soft and warm and cuddly, and it turned out great. It is very large, very warm, and decided that it is well worth it to, instead of making my own, buy it from Love Woolies. If you go to Instagram, Woolies, I can't spell my brain, WOOLIES. Love Woolies. Oh wait, just a minute. Nope. Not this bag, sorry. I had a bag from
She
them.
does those from the same thing, right?
And she does them far better, and it is well worth it. So that's where I went after that and bought 2 pairs.
Nice.
After making some of my own. So yeah, I did that. I made a whole bunch of little snowmen figures.
They're so cute.
Yes, I don't have any of them left to show,
upstairs.
but yeah, I made a whole bunch out of paper clay. I've been wanting to try doing it. It's like a vintage style. I wanted to try doing this for years, but I never had an excuse to really get into it to make one. So when I needed to make 15, I went, there is an excuse for me to pick up a new hobby. So I went all out and bought a billion supplies because I don't ever just buy what I need.
Because anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
So I now could make like 75 of them. Well, I need more clay. But other than that, they're really fun. So
they're so cute.
If at all possible, I'll put pictures at the end. It doesn't matter though. Not a big deal.
That's the hard thing about this time of year though, especially when we're podcasting, is that
you give things away.
Yes, you make them and give them and make them and give them and make them and give them. And it goes on all month.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen, on Christmas Day. So it's hard to
and everybody doesn't have to see everything that we ever make.
I know.
Because that would be ridiculous.
Except for I can just hear Mandy right now going, yes, we do. Anyway, sorry, Mandy.
But anyways, it was fun to pick up another hobby, and yeah, I really enjoy doing it, especially because of all the glitter you cover it in. I'm a huge glitter fan.
Have you seen the video that talks about the dangers of secondhand glitter?
No.
Just YouTube it. Just look for it on YouTube.
It sounds
the dangers of
fabulous.
secondhand glitter. It just cracks me up.
Yeah, yes. I can only imagine, because after I made all of those, I still have glitter all over the place, and it's been weeks, and I've been vacuuming and cleaning. So.
Oh man, that's funny.
All right. Okay, time
Works
for
in
some
progress.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to show you this one first. This one's really... So I'm so inspired by Amber Lindemann and her dishcloth challenge. You know, the Yarn Hoarder dishcloth challenge. She makes, I think she made like 80. I don't know. Just an unheard of number of dishcloths. And that's not going to be my thing. But then my dad sent a message to Deborah and I and basically said, see this dishcloth. And he took a picture of a hand knit dishcloth. He said, we love these and we'd love more of them. Just an idea if you're looking for Christmas gifts. So I thought, I got this, Dad. So I started my dishcloth, and you start at the beginning and you knit it and you knit it and then you decrease it. But look at the end of this dishcloth. This is the shape of my dishcloth. I don't know what's going on over here. I reknit the end corner of this 4 times. What is that?
It's the decreases versus increase.
It's not
they work out
pretty
differently
at all. It's
you should
not,
send it to Amber. Amber, could you help?
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You'd think of all the things I knit, I could knit dishcloths. So I'm not sure I'm giving him
pattern today.
I'm not sure that I'm giving this to my parents. Because yeah, it's cotton. It's not like it's going to block any different from what it already is. And look at this like weird. It's just not anyway.
What am I doing?
See, this is what I keep asking myself.
I've just unpicked this row,
Deborah,
and I just
you need
knit
to
it,
sleep.
and now I have to unpick it again.
Anyway, I have more of this. I love this cotton. Also from Hobby Lobby. Here's the thing. I really do love this cotton. This is very nice cotton to work with. I don't mind knitting with it at all. And I don't generally enjoy knitting with cotton a ton, just because it's
doesn't stretch.
Yeah, it doesn't have the give, and I find I get a little more hand fatigue. But this was delightful to knit. So I will try the dishcloth thing again. I will probably look for a different pattern. I was trying the Grandma's Favorite dishcloth that Amber recommends, and I think, I don't know. I just don't even know what I did.
Instead of a corner to corner kind of thing.
Maybe I'll just knit a garter one or something. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. But I kind of don't have a lot of time because, Christmas. But it's all right. So that's in progress. We'll figure out what's going on with that. Oh, by the way, this yarn was a gift from my friend Renee, and I really like it. So I'm going to get some more of that.
All right, works in progress. I am making, oh, look at this bag.
Ooh, that's cute.
This is from Cherie, Ollie and Bella.
That is a cute
I love the hand stitching on here. I just think this is such a cute bag. Okay,
super
but the inside. I
oh,
love
it's cherries.
Love it, love it. It's fabulous. So, I'm knitting a cowl. Shocker. So I'm knitting black. Well, it's mostly black. And I have written a basic pattern for a cowl and then added a textured stitch to it. And I just dyed the yarn because, I can. And so I did kind of a really deep charcoal, almost black. And then I was dyeing mohair, and I just kept adding more and more and more dye because it just was not black and was not black and not black until it just couldn't absorb anymore. And then I threw in another skein of yarn in to absorb the rest of it and came out with a fabulous skein. I'll have to show you that sometime. I loved it.
That is one of the funnest things about dyeing yarn.
Yeah, it's like magic. It is magic. So this is a fingering weight skein of yarn of merino. This is mohair. And yeah, like I said, this is a pattern that I was working on in my basics patterns. So I've got a ways to go, especially because I keep reknitting and unknitting the same row again and again. So I'll have to fix that. But I love this really cute stitch marker. This is one that I got a long time ago from Jules. So Sweet Violet. Love it.
So fun. Oh, I just dropped a stitch. Hold on. Dum,
Okay.
dum, dum, dum. There we go. So I am knitting another pair of my Francis socks because, well, I never did get the pictures, knit the pair for the pictures for my pattern. And so that has been a big holdup. So let me show that to you. This is the first one. And obviously this is not blocked, but this is my Francis sock. And this is knit in Tuscan yarns. Tuscan knits. Where's my label? That's not that label. Uh-oh. Here we go.
Gone.
I got it. It's in here. Here we go. Tuscan knits. And this is her Fife base. And the colorway Har. And so here we go. This is the pattern. This will finally have the pattern available. I've had so many people emailing me about this, especially after you knit your pair. I will have this available. In fact, it'll be available by Christmas because I'm almost there. It's just about ready.
If you've had the pattern written up.
The pattern has been written for a
tested.
long time. It's just been waiting for the photos. It's been tested. It's been edited. It's all ready. It just needed photos. And I didn't want to do photos with the original ones. I mean, they were like placeholder photos for my test knitters. So anyway, but this is going to be the one for the photos. So these will be available. This will be on my website as well on yarnbrary.com. And it should be up before Christmas. And I love this texture stitch. It is my favorite. I know you really enjoy it too.
I do.
And one of the things I like about it.
It shows off the yarn really well.
Yes. You can knit a semi-solid with it and it adds interest, or you can knit a variegated or a speckly one and it doesn't detract. And it keeps all of its stretch. The texture keeps all of its stretch. So I really like that because it makes it nice and easy to fit.
Yeah, it doesn't restrict the circumference at all when you put it on.
Nope. So these will be available on by Christmas. This
Remember
pattern.
the word circumference. I'm really proud of myself.
I'm really proud of yourself. I'm really proud of yourself.
I was like, wow, that word came to my brain really quickly.
And I'm on the second one. I'm working on the gusset decreases. It's okay, Deb. You're doing it.
That's so funny. Okay,
so here we go. I'll be flying along with that. In fact, I think I just finished the gusset decreases. I have to count stitches though. So that's what else I'm working on. How about you?
I'm just realizing when my children were really young and they didn't sleep at all, I wasn't goofy. I was just mean.
Aww.
No, I wasn't mean. I wasn't a fun person to be around. So it was probably the extended amount of time that I didn't sleep. So just once in a while here, it just makes me strange. But
well, I think that what happens when you're sleep deprived or when you're dealing with chronic illness or anything, is it just your patience reservoir, the space you have between where your emotions are and your spillover point is smaller.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you get lots of sleep and you're healthy and you're feeling good, you have a big, you have this big thing. So lots of things can come in without it spilling over.
Yeah.
But when it shrinks, and so what happens is little things come in and like,
and then it all explodes.
Yeah.
It explodes.
And it either comes out your eyeballs or out your mouth. That's how it works for me anyway. It's usually out my mouth.
Comes out all ends. Okay.
That didn't happen. Look away. Look away, people.
I have worked somewhat on my cardigan from this book, Rugged Knits. I still don't remember the name of it. I never remember the name of my patterns, I swear. I have to work really hard to remember them. Some people are really good at that. That's just not my skill. Okay, Woolen Explorer cardigan is the one that I am knitting. And I am knitting it oversized. Not dramatically oversized. We'll see when I'm done. I did get gauge. So hopefully it will be the oversizedness that I have planned. Oh no, don't lose stitches. Stitches came off.
Fix it. You can do it.
Okay. So I finished the body. It starts from the bottom ribbing and works its way up. And you put in pockets as you go, kind of thing that will get stitched down later. And it gets steeked also later. So
ooh, that's nice.
I think last time
squishy.
I think last time I had just put the pockets in, or I was getting ready to put them in. But I finished the body up to the armpits area. And so now I need to do the sleeves, because then they will join together, and then I'll do the colorwork yoke. So
nice.
I'm using my cute little stitch markers. I just pulled out a billion different stitch markers, but
are those from your shop?
No, these are ones that a friend gave me in a swap.
Oh, they're so you.
They're really cute. Really cute.
They are so you. That's so fun.
So I haven't done too much on this because then I started on Christmas knitting. So it kind of got set aside. But the other thing was that I feel like casting on the sleeve was a big, not a hindrance, but it just kept me from working on it, because it was like starting a new project. I felt like I had to think again and start everything else over again in my brain. With this, I just kept knitting and follow along. And when it came time to doing the sleeve, I'm like, oh, I'm not ready in that space, like my brain, to start a new project, even though it's the same project. So I just waited for a while, but it started now. So now I can work on it a little bit easier. Well, once I'm done with Christmas stuff, which I'm just about done.
I kind of don't want to be done with Christmas stuff. I've had so much fun with my Christmas knitting this year.
I don't want Christmas to come yet, because normally once it gets here, I'm ready and I'm like, it's good. It's good for it to be here and good to move on. But I don't want it to be here yet.
I know. I'm with you. I want another week.
Yeah.
At least one more week.
I think it's just because there were so many things that came up this last month that have just been so overwhelming that I feel like I haven't really started on Christmas yet.
Yeah.
So
you haven't been feeling it yet.
Yeah. So I want to start now. Well, I'll be starting maybe Sunday.
Right, because you've got all your project for your painting and your carpet.
But at that point, I don't know. I hope then that I can really settle into the Christmas season for the next few days and really enjoy it.
That makes sense.
I mean, I am enjoying it, what I'm doing. It's just not the focus like it usually is for the month.
Yeah.
And my kids are older. I have a married daughter who's not around. She's doing her own thing, so things are different that way. And my kids are older and don't like to do all the things that we used to always do, our traditions. And my kids were saying the other day that it doesn't feel a lot like Christmas usually. And I was like, yeah, because I worked really hard to bring magic to Christmas, to the fun and the experience of it and the spirit of it. and but they don't enjoy the same things anymore, and it's been a rough month. So just adding those things together, I think we just have to kind of figure it out again as they're older, new ways of doing things together.
You'll need a couple weeks, I feel like I do too, of after Christmas to just keep it. Like normally Christmas is over and I'm like, okay, time to clean up the house, put away the decorations. I mean, I'll give it a few days, but I don't want it up for a long time. I don't want decorations up for a long time. And I want to get our routine going, get back to doing our schoolwork, all of that. But this year I feel like, no, I need longer. Yeah. We'll see how I feel after Christmas. Maybe I'll get there, but
that's true.
All right. My next work in progress are my crazy Christmas socks. This is from, they're all yarn everywhere. Got 2 socks, 2 balls of yarn, all tangled around each other. This is Mustache Yarns, a very Hobbit Christmas colorway. And I got the version, not the one that she sold in her store online, but the same version she was selling at a yarn show that I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, so it's a slightly different one. But this is where I am on these socks. And I'm knitting them concurrently.
What makes them a different version?
That's just what she said. I think that some of the colors in the 24 stripes might be slightly different or something. Maybe they're a little darker. I really don't know. That's what she said.
Okay.
And I am not doing any contrasting heels, toes, cuffs. I am literally doing the stripes. So just as they go. And they're pretty fun. There's 24 different colored stripes. I think I started into the repeat. Yes. Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yes. This right here is the new start of the repeat. So it started with this kind of olivey green and then goes to this red right here. And then here is the olivey green again. So I'm now in the repeat of them. And this is my movie knitting because this is perfect. I just have around and around on 2 different socks to go. So I will take that with me to the movies tonight and work on that. I do really appreciate that she already had it, in 2 balls that started in the exact same place. Or not 2 balls, but 2 hanks. So you could wind them into 2 balls. And at that point, all you had to really do is make sure you're pulling from the right end for each one to make sure that they're matching, which is fantastic. It's fun that there's the 24 different colored stripes, and she gave you a little chart to tell you when, if you wanted to have these done to wear on Christmas Day, when you needed to have starred and turn your heel and all the different things. I have just been knitting away on them because I know I can knit these faster than, in fact, I've actually put them down for a few days because I thought, I'm getting ahead of myself and I want them to last. So anyway, I'll probably just go ahead and finish them up. But who knows? I'm going to be working on that other project for that Christmas stocking. So we'll see. But they're fun. They're fun to see what other people's look like because it's amazing how putting different contrast colors with them makes them completely different. And these are not colors that I would normally pick to knit socks out of, but they will be my fun and crazy socks. I will wear them on Christmas Day and then I'll have Christmas socks each year. So that's fun.
Right.
Plus bag. This is still one of my very favorite bags from Deborah. Love that one.
In another adorable bag. Have you seen this one, Emily?
No.
Look at the mice.
Oh, cute.
They're winter mice.
But they look like Cinderella mice.
This is by Nicola, one of our friends from Bumble Stitches. She has a podcast. She's doing Advent videos or Vlogmas videos right now. And I love this fabric, but equally I love this fabric. The color of it, the print, this is
vintagey cute.
It is so cute. This bag is,
and that gold canvas kind of metallic. Oh, that's
I love
cute.
it. Love it. Oh, it's the ballet Nutcracker. I just noticed when they're playing the orchestra there. Oh, it's so cute. Okay. So
It's adorable.
my daughters have been knitting hats and things, and so they keep going to get a bag, and they keep wanting to take this bag. I'm like, no, you cannot take this bag. Okay, so one of my daughters, I keep telling her, because I'm the evil mother, telling her I want her to be warm because I love her. Oh my goodness.
I don't want you just saw mine.
What in the world is happening here? Oh, it wasn't that bad. It just looked bad. She's like,
The only thing that makes this good is we know that you all have the same experiences that we do when you take your stuff out of your knitting bag.
So my daughter keeps saying when I'm like, go get your gloves. She's like, I don't have any, Mom. I'm like, how is it that you don't have any gloves? We have like 4 billion gloves in the house. So I went through, we washed all the laundry, we sorted through rooms, I pulled out our bin of winter things, and she doesn't have any gloves. What kind of a mother am I? So I thought, I'm gonna knit her some gloves. I'm gonna knit mittens. And I was going to do the world's simplest mittens, and I cast on 2 at a time. Last time I did this was, I think, 2 years ago, maybe. I was knitting socks for my mother, maybe 3 years ago. And I thought, well, this will be great. If I do 2 at a time, then it will be a lot more simple to keep it straight and to, make sure I get them done at the same time and not do one and then run out of time or steam to do the second one. And I got so confused. My family was mocking me. I was just doing like, what is happening here? And I couldn't figure it out. And I finally just cut the yarn, separated it onto 2 different needles, and kept going. So I thought, I don't want to knit one mitten because I'm going to have to make some adjustments because my daughter is like me with long, narrow hands, and forget what it is because I don't want to write notes. So I'll do 2 at a time. And the world hasn't ended. This is all I've done.
So the time where you cut the yarn and gave up was the last time you did it.
The last time I did it, not
this time. You're successful.
This time it has been successful. Except for the fact I realized these are going to be too small. And when I put this on, I realized I don't even know what this yarn is. But it doesn't feel nice and soft on my wrist like this.
They're going to be too small?
Well, for the look I'm going for.
Oh.
They'll fit, but I knit some for my other daughter and they fit her, but they look kind of silly. Like they're just super long and narrow. It doesn't look super cozy and squishy. And I want them to look cozy and squishy and feel that way. So I decided I'm not going to use this yarn. After all, I'm going to do the whole thing because that was just going to be the cuffs. The whole thing is going to be, you know what this yarn is, Emily, because you have a hat made out of this.
I love it.
This is from Hugh Loco, and it's Modest Melon in her Merino DK base.
I really love that.
And it is a generous DK, possibly worsted, I would say. It is just beautiful. My daughter will love this. Well, with our last minute basement issues, it may not get done. So I ordered her a pair of gloves as a backup just in case. But they are tight on my hands, so I don't know if they're going to fit her as well. So I'm still going to knit these one way or another. They're going to be knit. But because I'm not using this, because this was a worsted or Aran weight, I was using a different size needles, and then I was going to switch and increase stitches to switch to the DK because I thought that would be really nice having it like super warm and anyways since I'm not doing that, then I pulled out needles, but I don't have long enough needles to do 2 at a time.
I might. You should look at my stuff
because I have 2 of the same size, so I could do simultaneous knitting, and then when it comes to doing increasing to the bigger needle, I can put them on 2 at a time. But
is that a 40-inch cable? Like 40-inch?
Yes, this one's a 40-inch cable, and then my other ones that I have are 20 inches.
I have lots of 40s, so
yeah. I thought I did. Well, it's for US. Oh wait, no, that is. I need US 3, and I don't have a 40-inch cable on that for some reason. So,
okay, yeah,
and I don't know why I have 2 of this size. That's kind of odd. So that's the Christmas knitting that I'm hoping to work on.
It's fun stuff though. Ooh, I'm getting kind of cold.
Okay.
Did we mention it was cold? I have a few more things I wanted to show really quick.
I know, I have some things.
Some
stuff.
things, some
I do have
items.
future knitting too. Do you have future
Yes,
projects?
I do.
All right, have you finished all of your finished
Yes,
projects?
I have.
Okay.
And my work's in progress.
I'm going to show
yes.
some future knitting.
Yes, I do. I got this gorgeous set from Woolberry.
Very
Already wound
pretty.
it. Isn't that just so pretty? It's called Vintage. Thank you. Vintage Ornament. And it's the berry sock set. I was hoping to have cast those on because those would also be Christmas. So I was thinking I could wear one of my pairs of Christmas socks on Christmas Eve and the other one on Christmas. But instead, they might just be my Christmas Day cast on. I don't usually do a Christmas Eve cast on because Christmas Eve is busy. I feel like I'm doing so many things to get ready, and we have a big family party that night, and I'm cooking and, you know, cleaning the house and wrapping last minute presents. So, but I do a Christmas Day cast on. So that might just be that. But that's Woolberry, and it's the berry sock set in Vintage Ornaments. And it's just looking
Very pretty.
There's some pinks and reds and golds, little flecks of green. Oh, I love it. So pretty. So that is coming up.
I'm going to do a Christmas Eve or Christmas Day cast on, same thing, depending on the day, with my Kindness is Like Sugar colorway. That's my last colorway that I have released that I mentioned it last time. I don't think I said the name of it, but I said it was coming. I had a special one that I was releasing on December 1st. And that's one where I'm donating a portion of the proceeds to our rescue, OUR Underground, or Operation, what is it, Emily?
Operation Underground Railroad.
So anyways, that one, I'm going to use that for my Christmas Eve cast on. And most of the time I can't do it throughout the day, but at night when we're all together and we're sitting visiting and stuff, that's when I usually cast it on. And then that's nice for me because we usually go to a movie on Christmas Day, and I like to have movie knitting, so that's usually my movie knitting is the socks that I cast on.
Yeah.
Because then I could usually get through the first part, like the cast on and the ribbing, and then just do plain stockinette at the movies.
Which is always nice.
Yeah.
Round and round we go.
So I'm going to knit that. And then I also have plans to knit another snuggle down cowl. First of all, look at this amazing tin.
You know how I feel about that tin. That is so perfect for you too.
I love this. How many of you ever watched the show Toyland with Annette?
Funicello.
Yes.
Babes in
Funicello.
Toyland.
Babes in Toyland. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I loved that one growing up. Have you seen it since then?
I haven't. I was just thinking it's probably one of those that doesn't hold up very well.
I loved it so much. And I think 2 years ago, I finally tracked it down because it was hard to find. I finally found it somewhere and watched it and was like,
really? Why did I like this?
Okay.
I think that's true of most things with Annette Funicello, probably.
So anyways, so in here I have minis that came from various places. So I have to show you.
Oh, they're perfect.
Some are yours, Emily, that came from you. Some came, anyways, a variety of them.
Fun.
And like this one is Die For You in the Snow Covered Lights colorway. And this one is my Speckled Gumball colorway. And then some of these are yours, but I can't remember which ones now because they came out of a pack. I pulled some out of different packs. I pulled them out. That's what happens when you have sets, and then I pull some from here and there that I can't remember. So 2 are yours, and 2 came from somewhere else. But
this one I think is mine.
I was thinking these 2.
Probably. I don't even know.
Okay, so these are going to be a snuggle down cowl. Or multiples. This is enough to make.
That's
like
cute.
3.
I love it. It's so soft.
Yeah, and I'm going to hold it with the bear mohair. So it'll just be really mellow and soft.
Nice.
So that's the plan.
Lovely.
Is to do
and
that.
it'll kind of fade almost too because it's just speckly.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I'm really looking forward to that. Because it won't take 20, 40, 60, 81. It won't take 120 grams of this. It takes like 70 grams or it was like 10 grams in 7 different colorways. And I have 6 colorways. I thought I had a 7th one. Okay, well I still can knit 2. I just don't have to make them quite as long. So I'll probably knit 2 because I'm sure that somebody else will like it. I'm sure one of my daughters will steal mine.
Yeah.
Because she keeps stealing a lot of the stuff like that.
Which daughter? Nadia?
Yeah. That's why I knit her own.
So I have some future knitting. There's this really awesome girl I know who made me a 12 Days of Christmas set. Her name is Deborah.
She's pretty fabulous. I like her.
She is. I mean, and she has this gorgeous cowl on. I mean,
yep.
Anyway, these are the 12 yarns. Oh, you're not going to be able to see them all, but they're all in these little perfect tiny little balls of yarn. And there's 12 of them. Look at that one. Oh, that one's coming untied. Deborah, what'd you do? She's like, it was perfect when I gave it to you.
What did you do? What did you do?
Yeah, exactly. That's really the question.
I actually did take each of these and I threaded a tapestry needle and tucked it down under and tied a little loop so that they wouldn't come undone because that drives me crazy.
I know. See, look at it. Like right, that one that I showed. I just showed it where it's like this right here.
Yeah.
She has this little...
So that's how I usually put mine together so that they won't...
Anyway, they're just so pretty. And so I was thinking I would do a snuggle down cowl with these.
That's fun.
But I'm going to do the Surrey alpaca because guess what? I have a new Surrey alpaca base I'm going to be carrying in my shop. It is going to be called Romance, the base. Romance Cloud? Romance Fluff? Romance.
It's very romantic.
What did you think I would know the answer to that? It's something.
If you had told me, I still wouldn't remember.
I can look it up, but anyway, so I'm thinking I will do that and it's going to be great. So that's coming up. That's future knitting. I am going to look this up and I am going to tell you what it's called because I know that nobody else probably cares but me.
I'm waiting, Emily, with bated breath.
How do I get to there?
No, I'm not.
You're like, yeah, this is taking forever. Yeah, so just don't wait for me.
Well, that's because I forgot to show another project I was working on that's not knitting related. It's sewing. So while you're looking, I'll show this.
Good.
Okay, I like to make felt ornaments each year just for the fun of making felt ornaments. I don't need any, but they're fun to make. And so I didn't do any. Did I do some last year? I don't think I did any last year. And I've done them all the years before. And this year I decided I was going to do gingerbread houses. And I was just going to make my own little pattern, like draw something up. But the day I went to go draw one, I saw that Ginger Melon was having a sale. So each day for a certain number, like 5 days, she picked a specific pattern in her shop and had a daily sale. And so the day I was going to do it, she had her gingerbread patterns, gingerbread house patterns for sale, or on sale. So they're still for sale, but I didn't make them exactly like hers, and I'm still they're all in various stages of completion. So like things need eyes, doorknobs, stitching together. So there's one, here's another one with the gumdrop tree. Here's one that has a wreath and candy canes. Don't want the pieces to fall off because I haven't stitched them all on. And here's one that has little trees on the side, and that will be a Starlight Mint candy in the middle. Cute. And I've got another gingerbread man house, what's wrong with my brain? And on the top, you can't tell, that's a bow. It will look like a bow when I'm done. And the last one here also has a bow, but this one looks like a face because it has candy canes and 2 windows. And so it looks like a face right now.
Oh, it does, like a smiley
face. But when it's
face.
done, it probably won't.
No.
But it's cute right now. So those are all in various stages of completion, and may not be done before Christmas, but it's
They're
just about
fun.
having fun with it, and that's all. Just
I wonder if I would have the patience for that.
The whole time I was cutting these out, I was thinking Emily would think this is absolutely ridiculous.
No, not ridiculous. I so admire it. I'm just not good at picking
Like
things.
this. The gumdrop tree.
Yes.
That would have been Emily's favorite thing in the world to do. That and sewing the eyes and the mouth on the snowman. It doesn't have the nose yet. He needs a nose. She's like starting to feel anxious.
Yes, I don't.
So do you think you'd enjoy that, Emily?
I surprise myself though. Sometimes I think that there are things that are way too picky for me, and then I go, "Ooh, I really like that." I mean, thinking about it, no, but
some of the things that you
watching
have made
this
recently surprised me.
I know
About the pickiness of it.
Yes. But then having the satisfaction of the pieces coming together, I think is what makes it good.
I love about sewing with felt. It is so satisfying to sew.
Because it gets that finished look really quickly, I think.
And especially if I use wool felt. So these are all wool felt. I prefer using that, especially if you're going to make little things, because you lose all detail and everything if you don't use wool felt.
I wonder if that's my problem, because the only times I've ever really used felt were just that craft felt.
And I've made a ton of things with that, but it's far more satisfying with wool felt. And so I was going to make larger gingerbread house ornaments, but I didn't want to resize her patterns. I wanted it to be more simple.
Maybe I need to try doing something cute felt for Valentine's Day. And if I just did like 2 or 3 of them, or just, one, then maybe I would go, oh yes, this is for me, or no, it isn't.
And I don't make a lot each year. I just make like enough that could be a gift for somebody. I don't want to make 2 or what, so I usually make 6 or so. And that's about all I do each year.
That makes sense.
So,
by the way, that is called Romance Cloud Base.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay. I brought 3 things to show. And you have some things to show? One thing?
Yes, I have. I'm trying to think of which things I want to show. Go ahead and do your thing. Oh, I know what I want to show. Okay.
I've had an assortment of very lovely things come into my hands and into my life the past couple of months. And I wanted to show a couple of them. So this one right here was from Molly Klein Design in our Advent swap. This one made me cry because it was just so sweet and perfect. Oh, I love this book. I love this book. Yeah, it's just so fabulous. So I really appreciate that, Molly. And the illustrations are just really fun. Very retro. I love it. So this is one that won't go in our bookcase. It's just like, this is for display. So I know that it says that it was 4 for $1, but today it is no longer 4 for $1, and I can't get another one, I don't think. So I just love it. It is so sweet. It'd be great if they made one of these in the same style for Mary Poppins Returns.
We have some books from when we were children that have a very similar style of illustrations. So it just totally brings back memories.
I love
from being little.
Yeah, I remember some books like that. So that was really fun.
That's super sweet.
And another book that made me cry came from Emily. Look at this. If you want this is just wisdom in a book right here. All the wisdom, all the good feelings, all the happiness. Oh, I keep opening up a page and I read it and go, oh, it's just so perfect. Yes. Yes. Oh. Like this one. Okay.
Yep,
every
perfect.
Single one. Our thoughts and our feelings, the way we treat each other, the way we treat other people, the way we love one another. That's what matters more than what we look like. Mm-hmm. I love that. Everything here is just fabulous. So just flip a page, open it, and it's wonderful. So this is this is definitely one of my new core books. So it will be one that is read again and again. So I love that one. Did you have something?
Love it. Yes. So this, I'm like Deborah. I'm only showing just a tiny little sampling of some things that have come into my life that from wonderful friends, and I don't want to drone on and on, but I have to show this one because our friend Mandy made me this bag, and she made it to look like a Mrs. Weasley style bag, and it was all made from reclaimed fabrics, and it says, "I never received my acceptance letter to Hogwarts, so I'm leaving the Shire to become a Jedi." Isn't that perfect? It's so fun. So fun. And it's a big, deep bag, so you can put like 3 other project bags in there. And it's got a nice pocket in there. And I just love it so much. It's perfect for me. And just the thoughtfulness of the handmade and hand-stitched. Yeah. You know, she just totally gets me. And I love it. Love it so much. It's fun and crazy.
Yep, I love that.
I really enjoy. So that was one. And then, where is that? Sorry, I'm reaching. She also knows how much I adore Amy from Little Tailoress, or Tailoress Studios, excuse me. And I don't have any of her yarn. And Mandy gave me a skein of her dandelion and dogwood yarn in Maybe Baby, classic Amy colorway. It's not just Amy, it's Amy and her gorgeous sister. But dandelion and dogwood, it's a classic colorway. So now I have my own skein of dandelion and dogwood, which was very, very sweet.
Yeah.
We also got some just beautiful, beautiful handmade gifts from other friends. And I won't mention them all, but just thank you.
That was very, very fun. Today I was out grabbing another skein of this because it makes perfect pom-poms, and right next to it was another shop that had puzzles, and this one was on clearance, and it's perfect for me.
Cute. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah, I have a puzzle problem. My problem being that if I start when I do nothing else, and then when I do one's not enough, so then I have to do like 7 more. And then my family doesn't eat. We miss appointments.
They need to eat every day. I mean,
multiple
come on.
times.
Like, yeah.
Legally, I'm only obligated to feed them 1 hot meal per day.
Legally, you're only
Yes. They only need 2
I didn't know
two
there
full
was like
changes of clothing. Like 1 to wear and 1 to change into. So
why do you know this?
I don't know.
Were you looking it up to find out, like, what do I actually have to do?
No, actually, I think that it's because there is somebody who was adopting a child and had to know all of those things for part of the process and was telling me about it. And so I remembered the 1 hot meal a day. That comes up every once in a while. Like, I do not.
What's their definition of hot meal? Like, if you put Tabasco on it, does it qualify?
Well, I am stopping to pick up pizza for my children after this.
That's a good plan.
So that's going to be hot. At some point, it will be hot. Maybe in a bunch of weekends to them.
Could it have used to be hot meal? At one point, it was.
It means not cold cereal. It's got to be oatmeal.
Like, it's got to have real food. I mean, let's be honest. Okay.
I joke about that, but my children are well fed.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm very, very aware of people who do not have.
Yeah.
That ability, and it's heartbreaking. So,
and I do like that here locally we do have a program that when school is not in, because during school this is provided in the school system if it's needed. So when school is not in, they have a hot lunch meal program for children that's free for the children, and I love that. And they do it all around the state, so the kids can get there walking. So it's within walking distance.
It's really
all
great.
over the place. So anyways, I have a puzzle to do, another one. We did just buy 3 other puzzles last week. But this one is just too fun.
It's fun.
Okay, that's all. I mean, that
was plenty.
That was a lot. So yeah. So let's move on to our Kindness is Like Sugar segment.
So one of the things that is amazing about this time of year is how many people you see reaching out to each other. You know, we're making each other presents, we're giving each other gifts, and we're thinking about the ways to show other people that we love them. And there's a lot of giving that happens, charitable giving and reaching out into our communities and so on. And I love that. That's one of the things we really love. We love participating in it. We love seeing it, hearing about it, all of it. So it's wonderful things. But the thing that we always want to remember is that the whole reason we're doing this at this time of the year is because of Christmas. And Christmas is all about the birth of Jesus Christ. And Deborah and I are Christians, and we love to share that. And we know that that's not everybody who is who is watching this podcast has that same view, but we wanted to share that and our love. And in our view, Jesus Christ was the ultimate example of kindness. He loved everyone and he reached out to everyone. And I love that the number one thing that we do to celebrate him is to be kind to each other.
Yeah.
That's like the
love
best thing you could ever do. And it's easy to get caught up in judging each other or even just in feeling inferior and closing off, the different things that happen that separate us from each other. And yet the kindness that we are always talking about and that inspires us for this segment, for both of us, for Deborah and I, that the heart of that is our faith in Jesus Christ. And so we just wanted to share that and wish you the most merry, wonderful Christmas. So that's our Kindness is Like Sugar segment.
Thanks. No, Christmas is the best.
Mm-hmm. We want you to know too. I want to say one more thing actually about that. Deborah and I are extremely blessed, and we know it, to have each other. Mm-hmm. We know that not everybody has a sister or a best friend or somebody.
Support that we have.
And we have each other, but we also have the rest of our family who is extremely wonderful and supportive, and we love. And so, but we know that that's not everybody. So I just want to look here in the camera and look at you and say, if you are on your own or if you are struggling, we want you to know that we care about you, that we love you.
You matter.
And that you matter. You are important. And I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
I want you to feel it right now and know that we care about you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We have mentioned before that us sitting here talking to my phone, it feels like we're just talking to some friends gathered in, her craft room, and we're just having a chat. And then every once in a while we'll see the numbers and go, oh, that feels more intimidating than what we envision it to be. Envision just sitting down with, 4 or 5 friends or less. But it is personal to us. We do this because it's personal to us. So we're not in it for anything else.
And it's more than just yarn. It's you.
It is. And that's why we do mean it all the time, that you matter. And we are so thankful for each of you that reach out in so many different ways to express that you're thankful for us, and it's reciprocated all around. And you watch out for each other too. I notice, in our Facebook group, things like that you're just caring for each other. I love it. I love it. Okay, we gotta finish. We gotta end. I gotta go back to painting. So let's end with shop news.
Okay. I have some big stuff coming up, you guys. My shop is closed on Etsy now and will be relaunching on January 12th, which will be my 2-year anniversary of the Yarnbrary. And I am really excited because I have some really fun things coming. So for one thing, I have a whole bunch of new I have a few select, very carefully chosen new bases that I will be introducing, and I will be putting a lot of this detail over the next several weeks on Instagram and sharing it there and on my website at yarnbrary.com, so you can go and look at things as they come out there. I'll be adding new bases. I will be streamlining and adding colorways, and I will be just stocking the shop every week. I won't have scheduled updates other than that first, January 12th, or some special kinds of things. But in general, I will just be adding stock as we go. I won't be doing any mystery clubs coming up this next year. I will be doing an Advent again next year. This has been so much fun, and I've had such great feedback, and I'm so happy you're enjoying your Advent calendars. So I will be doing one next year. And I'm also going to be adding some beautiful new accessories, and I wanted to show you one of them. Deborah and I are both wearing them. So this necklace, I'm calling it the Yarnbrarian's necklace. It's a knitter's necklace, and it includes heart-shaped stitch markers and other beautiful handmade charms, some of which are genuine semi-precious stones, like this rose quartz one. This is genuine mother of pearl. And they will be gold generally, because I love shiny gold, and I think you can't find enough of it. I love this one, the butterfly with the pearl. Anyway, so I will be having these necklaces available in my January 12th relaunch. Oh, I'm trying to get it to show. There we go.
Very pretty and dainty and light. This is what I was saying, Emily, that this is too finicky for me.
Yes, and I love doing it.
Okay. And this, okay, will it
there
focus?
We go. Yeah.
I'm like, not quite. I mean, you've got this teeny little one that's
little one, yeah.
added onto that. I mean, like, and you've hand wrapped.
I have. Everything's hand wrapped and handmade.
And they are beautiful.
But I love them. They're delicate, they're sparkly, they're gold, and they're on this rose gold metallic leather cord. And they will be up in the shop in January. So that's one of the accessories. I'll have a couple of other things there as well that are accessories. And then, as I said, my patterns are now all on my website as well. Mm-hmm. So there are a few of them that have been unavailable for a little bit, including the Scrappy Bias shawl, the Candy Floss socks, Good Cheer shawl, the Tenderness socks, and the Aria socks. Those are all back up. And then Fizz socks are coming up, and Francis socks will be there too. So all of those are... And yes, well, and there'll also be the Rich hat and the Cloud Cowl. And I have 2 sweaters in the design process right now, and I'm very excited about those. Yeah. So... And they will be multi-size, beautiful things, hopefully.
It's lovely.
So that's lots of fun stuff coming up in January for that.
And this isn't actual leather.
No, I should, yes. Cord, no, it's not leather cord. It's synthetic leather.
Yeah. I was going to say, you might want to specify.
Yes, I will.
Because I know that not everybody
wants leather.
Wants, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The animal.
It's synthetic. It's not genuine leather.
So... Just for I was just looking at a piece of it.
Yep.
Yeah, my shop, it's closing in like a week and a half. How long? December 30th is my closing date. And everything right now that I have left in stock, there's not a lot, is not everything. Almost everything is on sale. There's a couple of colorways, like my Kindness is Like Sugar sock set. That one is not, because that one is a fundraiser. And a couple of things that are not on sale, but really the majority of it is. So if you want anything, now's the time, because there's just a little bit left. And so really it's just open until things sell out, or the 30th, whichever comes first. And I just have really, really loved so much the whole process of this. There are some things that I have to say I don't love. The business side of doing taxes.
Nobody
bookkeeping
loves taxes.
and, all that jazz.
Sure.
But really, it has been such a pleasure. And since announcing that I was closing, I've had so many wonderful, thoughtful messages and people just sharing their love, your joy of it. So thanks for going on the journey with me. I've really enjoyed it. And not that I won't ever dye yarn again, but, I never know what the future holds. I kind of just do the next thing that I know is right. And I'm not making any plans, really, for anything else in the future. So
other than you're talking about your simple patterns.
Yeah, I don't even know how or where I will be publishing those, but that's just something I've been wanting to do for a long time and haven't had really the brain space to do that, because people ask me and then I have to try and describe it every single time. I'm like, let's simplify this process. So that's kind of what that is. That's all.
Oh, I need to get my kindnesses like sugar socks set. I gotta order mine. I just realized I haven't ordered mine yet. I've got to get it.
I think there's 4 or 5 left.
By the time you
see this,
watch this, there'll be one less than that.
I don't know if there will be any left. I'm not dyeing any more yarn. Yeah. It's all packed away. I can't even access it. That's it. That's all the yarn there is.
Doing all this work in your house, and then it's Christmas, so yeah.
So I mean, I dyed a lot of yarn and had it in stock, and that was all. So our next podcast will be in the new year,
and it will be episode 50.
Yep.
It's like our golden episode, like your golden anniversary,
our golden years. Okay.
Don't you think your golden years should be young? I don't know. Anyway,
no, I don't want to be. I do not want. We were talking about.
I don't want to be in the stage of life when I was younger. I just want my body to feel the way it felt when I was younger. Yes, that.
And flexibility.
No, I love being in the phase of life I'm in now.
I do. I really do. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So there's a reason. There's benefits from both.
There's a reason that you do all this stuff when you're young.
Yes.
When you're young.
Yes.
Agreed. Yeah. Oh, have a most Merry Christmas. Wonderful holidays. Stay warm.
Or cool.
Be cool.
Be cool.
Have fun. Be kind. We love you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.